Good evening, everybody. System Chalk here with, I think, the 10th episode. I actually had to start recording this again, so I don't think we had any activity that happened on the board. So this video, we're going to continue our efforts to try and get to the Peacock store if I can. We'll hopefully be able to move on to some expeditions beyond the continent, and if I can find... I think I'm actually going to try and go for even higher edge influence. If I can manage that, we might even be able to start bringing some rivals into the cult. There's going to be a couple things regarding the videos, the previous videos that I want to address, but I don't think there's a short way for me to do that. So if you've been enjoying the series and you want me to deal with a little bit of housekeeping, I'm going to put that at the very end of the video, so as hopefully not to waste too much of your time. Let's take a look at the position. I know it was a little... I don't think lightheaded is the right word, but maybe airheaded in the previous episode, so I need to maybe just double check that I didn't destroy my position too badly. We're learning Deep Mandiac from King Crucible. That's the right call. I actually also have... Well, actually that tells me what I want to do next, actually. Let's go through the stag door. I'll use my reason. And I won't explicitly say what I'm trying to do with that, but it should be apparent shortly after. Fruitless search. Oh, did I forget? No. Looks like we just got unlucky with our... Well, we didn't get unlucky last time. We just didn't have full strength. However, we are going to pay for that in terms of funds, so I think we're going to spend a few extra hours at the Institute to make up for that. I believe Valcine will be looking for a Bronze Spintrea before too long. My follower needs a Bronze Spintrea or better to complete their task. Followers at work on the mirror, and my rival seeks tools and lore for their own ascension. However, there were none for them to find, so we're safe for now. And again, this is just reiterating why we're not leaving as many expeditions on the table as we did before. So, Season of Despair is coming up. As long as we don't generate any dread, that'll deal with our fascination as well. Season of Ambitions is coming up, so this would mean I want to avoid exploring any new locations. Now, as it happens, I want to avoid exploring... I can't explore locations because we've been tied up in this expedition anyway, but I've been hit by that before, so I'm going to do my best to avoid. And if you'll forgive me for one quick minute here, I've been having some audio problems with my microphone. Just Windows seems to like setting its volume to maximum. I always get a little worried whenever I see my audio levels. Okay, we're good. Again, I'm sorry to spend some broadcast time on maintenance, but the way I record these things, I kind of have one go, and that's it. Okay. We've got 18 edge available to us right now. We need more. We will eventually generate a notoriety from this expedition, but I don't think there's anything certain about when we're going to have access to it. So let's try and abduct someone. And if memory serves, I think that is a Grail job. So, Saliba, do what you do best. Significant conversations in a smoky meeting room. And what do I need from my follower? Seduce a stranger. A sufficiently persuasive disciple can probably lure a susceptible companion back to us. So this is a little bit more difficult for us because we are not a Grail cult like we were in the previous one. But we'll do the best with what we've been given. And we're going to go through the Ascent of Knives. This is partly to avoid the potential for fascination, but the thing I'm looking for actually comes from the Ascent of Knives. Although I might be able to get away with Forge in this particular case. Okay, another Furious Air. Anger is implicit in every shape. Of the place my dreams took... Excuse me. Of the place my dreams took me last night, this has been written. The ascent is glass, the walls are knives, each step is blood. I did not climb far. The pain was too great. When I woke, that pain remained with me, a pain I could employ to occult purposes if I hurry. Now, if I had two Furious Airs like that, I would be able to level them up, but unfortunately, I need to I need to... I don't believe there is a way for me to have 2 furious heirs as a result of dreaming. Actually, that raises an interesting question as to how I would upgrade it. Something for me to consider another time. In one history, this was the tongue the Shadowless King spoke. In another, it was the basis of the incantations of the Children of the Leashed Flame. So we have Deep Mandiac, which is not necessary right now, but helpful. And as I mentioned before, we're going to work at the Institute again. Now, study-wise, we have a few options available for us. Unfortunately, Deep Mandiac is not something that we need for translation right now. But we can read a couple of books, and I will try the Yeah, actually, either text is fine, because we should be done with our moods. I am, however, going to do the Forge text first, for the simple reason that we could potentially subvert it to Edge if I so needed. So the irreproachable traditions of the Society of the Noble Endeavor. We'll translate the Latin. And let's go back through the Stag Door. We'll have another journey pretty soon, but for now we'll hang on to it. Stag Door is the Adept's Gate. To pass it is to be initiated into the first true mystery of the House of the Sun. The head Gearby weeps to see me enter where it cannot, but it must let me pass. The scarred valves of the door grind open. Now here's an interesting question. If I were to try to do recruitment with King Crucible, I don't think I could use King Crucible in the recruitment, but I've never tried it before. So, I will, however, put King Crucible inside the expedition just to preserve him. King Crucible has a bit of a cooldown when he leaves, so I want to be mindful of that. Although I've gotten what I need, so I could safely move on. This should turn into a fleeting reminiscence. And a way through the door, faint lines in stone, a surface that yields to pressure. We found it. The hidden door moves with a grating shudder and a shower of dust. So the wolf despair prowls elsewhere. That generated a fleeting reminiscence. And paintings whispers, windows wink. I know these things are not true, but how can I be certain? So even if I were to generate a fascination now, I would still be able to, excuse me, I would still be able to weather the season, which actually potentially has implications for my trip through the Stag Door. Now this is going to be a little unlucky with Saliba, I think. So time alone in a quiet room with a living mind. That's all I need. Oh, nope, we're okay. So Saliba's attempting a seduction that will take 30 seconds. The challenge here would be that I may wind up with a prisoner from Saliba. However, I would automatically consume that prisoner. So instead, I'd prefer them to take my reason for now. Out in the night, my followers whispering words that sometimes they might mean. Even if their victim knows their words are lies, they may not care. Okay, I think this time I'm actually going to try the Painted River. Well, Forbidden Epic's not the worst thing I could get. There is a great chamber in the Mansis through which the Painted River flows. The vagabond, it is claimed, painted it from memory in the years before she left the house. Certainly, there are histories concealed in its design. I traced them with my hand last night. There were fragments of aquamarine paint beneath my nails, flecks of gold leaf when I was done. And I prepared the text for study, so let's move on to reading. The irreproachable traditions of the Society of the Noble Endeavor. The members of the Society of the Noble Endeavor adopted noble names at their initiation. Parsifal, Roland, Oisin. They drew their inspiration from the Leashed Flame, which gave the island of Britain such appalling power in some histories. One Samuel Partridge has chronicled their efforts. Their endeavor was no less noble, a furious arcane conflagration which would refine them into something more than human, but such transformations are rare, and they often ended less nobly in ashes. We'll collect our pay and back to the Institute. There is a dank and clinging smell to the Institute halls that never quite leaves one. Perhaps it is the paint, perhaps it is the patience, and perhaps it is something in the walls. And And I should have gone back to the stag door, although I might have had other uses for it. I am actually kind of trying to provoke fascination at the moment. And if I cannot consume the thoughts of a living mind, my need will turn in upon itself. My minion is returned, attended by a prisoner rendered docile with delight. So that does generate notoriety for us. I think what I'm going to do here, the hapless prisoner is going to last for a little while. So what I'm going to do here is I will get Dorothy to do the charm offensive, given the fact that the notoriety will be the only candidate there. We'll actually have 2 notoriety, so I should probably do 2 rounds of that. The moonlight bleaches the grass to winter. All around, the stones loom. Here, in the tumulus side, beneath the turf, is a stone that will rise like a trapdoor. We must put our backs into it. Or our summons, at least, need to. Mirrors are calm. The sun is steady. The glory recedes. I am sane, if that means anything. And the light in the mantis dims in me. I am less than I was. I need conversation. I must have those particular conversations. So this hapless prisoner got quote-unquote lucky, but I still have uses for them. We have a season of Ardors coming up, but of course plenty of reason, so we don't need to worry too much about Enid taking away my attention. The chamber inside the tumulus has half collapsed with the years. Fat white spiders crawl from the torch of our lamplight, insolently slow. The stone reliefs are cracked and dripping, but here's the offering hole still, with its treasures. So, King Crucible, we've got our notoriety, which we plan to deal with through Heart. We've got an expiring Callagine, although we want it for its moth. Northstar Percussagant, Clifton, Yzabet, lots of followers this time. So a Jumble, which is really more for the money. Refulgan is nice, and Rose Pearl Dust. Okay, so Season of Ambitions isn't showing up yet. It is going to be a little inconvenient with the followers, but I think we'll just tough it out. I believe we're now onto Forbidden Epics. The attention of the hours is drawn to the bloodiest wars. Afterwards, the histories are braided like hair. And this is going to take us to the land beyond the forest. Again, we take a look at Chronicles. Now, in the grand scheme of things, moving the Forgotten Chronicles up to Forbidden Epics and then eventually Unresolved Ambiguities might be the way to go. However, we've got plenty of exploration to do. It's a question in terms of when we want to start doing that studying, because we still have at least one text. And the hope is that we'll be going through these expeditions to the land beyond the forest reasonably quickly. So you would think that this would generate a number of other books for us to read. And of course, we've got a number of languages available to us, so this would, in theory, mean that we excuse me. This would mean that we have a... Sorry, what am I trying to say? This would mean that we're... more of the books that we get could be studied, whereas previously, when we got certain books, we would have to wait until we had the language, which would mean that any given expedition would produce less time-consuming activities. So it's a minor point, but it's one worth considering. Partridge claims to have identified consistent features among those who ascended. All of them had passed the stag door and were accounted no. All of them spoke the Khalidate invocation, or a greater rite, at the start of their ascension, and all of them were rich. So one thing that's kind of neat to note here, so all of them spoke the Khalidate invocation or a greater rite at the start of their ascension. So in this case, there's a connection here with level 8 lore, which in this case is actually higher than... well, then again, I suppose if it's the question of no, we've already passed the stag door. I actually need to think a little bit about this. I think there's there's a hook into this that I'm missing, and it's not that I can't solve. Like I know how to ascend in this for sure, but there's I think there's something specifically about the level 8 forge, or one of the alternatives. It might actually just simply be the matter of enlightenment, because I'm trying to remember when we triggered that. It's not really worth dwelling too much right now, but Right, I've done some good. My patients are quieter than when I began. So again, we'll go back to the Institute because we're in this nice little spot now where we're waiting for expeditions. We will actually use the Forbidden Epic here. Those histories that have been forbidden are the ones most apt for us to read. Sorry. Oh no, that's the right text. And we'll now move on to the Serenity of the Black Wood, an allegorical history of the House of Leith, who it is here implied were inspired by the centipede. Sereno Blackwood is an occult alias to this day. So we will translate the Greek. Lock the study door, the work begins. And we may have to replace the Callagine, but we'll take our time. I believe this will give me a higher lore. Let's try the Ascent of Knives. Okay, never mind. A better atmosphere. Winter passes the clothes, passes the skin, nestles in the veins. A 10th order influence. I visited the Ascent of Knives last night, the harshest of roads through the house. It has been sacred to the Menascate and the sun in rags since the Intercalate, when the true sun was divided. When I woke, my room was freezing. The chill of it had cracked the window glass. It's not quite that cold here, but it is definitely dropped. I haven't turned on the heat yet, but I am wrapping myself in a blanket more and more. I probably shouldn't have gone through the stag door again. I did get this prisoner for a reason. If I have a particular friend, now is the time to renew our connection. Is there another? My lover and I contend in the spaces above and beneath the flesh. I must match their intensity. And coming up next, a season of sickness. So if I can get the heart, so much the better. I just don't think there's a lot of opportunities there. I'm going to play chicken with my summons. I think we'll lose King Crucible, but that's not the end of the world. And I'm going to go straight into another charm offensive. So I could try and summon the Callagine again, but what I am going to do here instead is mount the expedition. So, Cave of Candles. Every 7th sunset, the cunning man comes from the village below to renew the candles. The floor of the entrance chamber are slick with stinking wax. He claims that the light keeps the creatures below cowed, but more likely the sacrifices he brings keep it too sated to emerge. So this likely means a serpent or potentially the undead. I suspect it's probably the serpent. Not King Crucible Percussigan. And, although, I mean, it wouldn't hurt to, toss King Crucible in. Alright, the ascent to the cave through the high places will be dangerous. Whatever waits in the darkness below is probably more dangerous still. So, we'll carry on. I'm actually going to try something... I might be able to get away with this. Let's give it a try. So, right at the Crucible Cell. There's King Crucible. So we would need knock for this. No, I don't really have that high of knock. What am I missing? No, it's not the edge. What am I doing? Would have to be Forge. Am I considering summoning King Crucible? King Crucible is already in the world. Neat. Oh, that's an interesting question. So if I put King Crucible in here... Interesting. So it looks like the edge takes over. So if I use... Yep, okay. I kind of wondered about this. I think this was one of the challenges with King Crucible, was that people would just... like, getting the unique summons would not quite be as exciting. And I was trying to think if they got around that just because of the combination of edge and whatnot, or specifically what happened here, which is to say, why am I trying to resummon the thing that's already here? So, the Serenity of the Blackwood is the same text, so let's read it again. The proverbial footloose gathers travelers in a wood and leads them through, but abandons them part way. They find themselves beset by glorious monsters. Oh, and we will go back to the Institute. I do need to do something to get rid of the bitter atmosphere, but we'll handle that a little bit later. Actually, it may be a good idea for, if I keep it around. The Painted River runs from a great chamber near the White Door, far through the Mansis to its far edge, where it enters a painted delta of far cloud. I voyaged half its length last night, with a stern-faced captain beneath a rust-red sail. As the clouds rose before us, the sailors raised a yearning shanty and close-hauled the sails to best use the painted wind. And all the while the captain and I discoursed on the secrets of the House of the Sun. So, I'd love to go back through the Snag Door again. I haven't got what I need, but I am going to go through the Spider's Door this time. So, in my dreams I know the path through the silken sands to the Spider's Door. If I slake its thirst by spilling fresh blood before I sleep, it will open for me. The Spider's Door is always thirsty, always. The blood I have given leaks in threads and spills through the skin of the world, and the door drinks it, and a moment's satisfaction swells its opening until I can pass. Okay. Enid prefers to close her eyes rather than look at me. She says it hurts to look. She says it with such longing that I can't take offense. So this did give me contentment, however I have a bittersweet memory, which means that the icy atmosphere isn't as important anymore. And this is for the simple reason that the icy atmosphere is eventually going to force me to deal with the dread, whereas the bittersweet memory I have the option of unpacking, so dwelling on that moment, and being able to turn into the components that I need, or just simply letting it pass over time. And so as a result, it's sort of a more appealing approach. But again, we'll see what we can do. We still have, I think, it's about 2 minutes before it decays. Well, a little more, because we've got the 45 seconds here. So we'll probably have to use money to get rid of this sickness, but that's life. Alright, the expedition continues. Our expedition plans for the next challenge. It'll consume funds. I could add funds now, or I could send another follower. Excuse me. Okay, so I can actually get a little more life out of King Crucible. So, bleak and gray-green slopes lift the eye to distant snow-edged, sky-straining peaks. It'll be a devil of a job to find anything there. Forge will sustain us, winter will shield us. So the nice thing about adding King Crucible is not only do we have the extra forge, but we have 20 edge, which means that the younger sister, the mother of ants, was born among serpents. She has so very many younger sisters. It can be defeated in battle, or it will respond to the mother's power. So in this case here, we really don't need to add anything else to the expedition. Which of course means we just simply get to... Why did I put reason in here? Dusty's facts have become clear in my brain, for now at least. Okay, Season of Vision's coming up, so I do not want to generate any fascination. Once this is done, I will probably do another abduction. Ah, nuts. I'm gonna get hit by this fascination no matter what, but I guess the icy atmosphere will take care of it. It's a shame. It would have been nice to use this for the formula concursed, but travelers discover that they can survive if they close their eyes. They adopt a closed eye as their sign, and that they can go unnoticed if they drink from the clear, cold streams. They never forget that proverbial footloose the centipede, but they never forgive her either. So we can move up the Centipede Testament, although perhaps that's not the most advisable at the moment. And I'm just trying to think if there's anything I can do to try and hide away the fascination long enough for me to use it. I don't think so. I mean, I suppose I can try. So there's a proverb among practitioners of the invisible arts. Glory visits the house without walls. I would like to know about glory. Mountaineers Road. Our forge skills represent plenty of expertise. We'll almost certainly make it through. Okay, so I think in this case here, until I get a better reason, I'm always going to go to the Mallory. Well, I think this turns into fascination, but it will last long enough that that's maybe helpful for me. Every color has grown bright as new dye, but now all of them begin to bleed towards white. Last night in the Mantis, I visited the Mallory, from whose impulses and rotations one does not emerge unchanged. There are many radiances there, from the fires of the forge and her names, and her instruments, but one radiance lingers behind them like a fading music. The last light of the sun and splendor shed in the moments of his division, here where the forge is strongest. Now that I have awoken, I see that radiance still. So I'm not really looking to generate any fascination right now, so we are just going to sit back. I don't think I want to go through the stag door. I am, however, going to use the bittersweet memory. Understanding, neither dare speak aloud, a quarrel and its aftermath. Alright, so we're now free of any notoriety, but of course we're just going to abuse the opportunity and get Saliba to get me another body. A sufficiently persuasive disciple can probably lure a susceptible companion back to us. This might permit me to hesitate. Oop. I need to make sure that this dread is actually useful. We'll wait the 3 seconds. Okay, so this is definitely not going to help me, so we'll take the fascination here, combine it with the dread. The doors of vision swing wide, a little darkness will mellow my light. Even dread has its uses. So this blaze of radiance is going to last longer than the season of vision, so we're good there. This illness has damaged my health. I will need to rest before I'm fully recovered. And the good news is, okay, season of ambitions, but we don't have any expeditions on the table, so we're good there. The good news about this is I will probably have, I'll probably have enough time with this study to be able to use the fascination that pops up. I'm going to need to get rid of the dread from the chilly atmosphere, but the dream slot should be available for that. Oh, nope, because the contentment's going to go away. So that may be a risk. Okay, challenge illumination. This is a puzzle with missing pieces. I might find those pieces in odd corners of scholarship. So, unfortunately, it's 25 seconds. It's going to be too long for the blaze of radiance, but we can always try again. So 2 minutes, and then the intensity of radiance comes up. The expedition continues. I didn't read the text before, but frost-scarred and shivering, we've made it through the mountains. Out in the night, my follower is whispering words that some... Let's try that again. Out in the night, my follower is whispering words that sometimes they might mean. Even if their victim knows their words are lies, they may not care. Ah, so I was the one to get the ambition. Fair enough. I think here... Let's just pay for the medicine. And season of suspicion coming up, so my seduction attempt might come back to bite me. Well, I'm probably a little more worried about the conversation. Eyes like gas lamps, scales like black jade. A serpent is a powerful foe, but it's nothing before us. Alright, my minion is returned, tended by a prisoner rendered docile with delight. So I frankly don't see any way that we're going to be able to get around this notoriety, but let's give it a you know what, let's not even try. We're going to get hit by the evidence. There's no way around it. Just accept it. We'll get the Callagine to destroy the evidence later. The serpent struggles. The serpent rolls and roars. Its death throes shake the earth, but it's dying. We will pass. And my studies have been stymied for now. At this point, we should have enough time, so I will attempt to combine this again, and we will go back to the Institute. So, another mark. I have drunk the light of their mind. It thrills and fills me. The marks brighten in me. So we are now actually up to level 4 with this ambition. It's just I'm probably not going to be able to maintain it. The fourth mark is the light that can be... the fourth mark is the light that is found in the eyes, but it is very subtle. Most can see it only when the lamps are extinguished or the night is very dark, although when I open my eyes very wide, more light leaks out. I am growing thinner. I've always liked the transformation. Well, I mean, the writing is obviously very well done, but I do like a lot of the descriptions of the transformations. It's been a struggle, but I think we are on our way to... I think we're on our way to getting to the Peacock store. Sick room grows close and stale, time to get up. So I am going to go back through the stag door this time for a slightly different reason. Season of Despair coming up, so this dread has now become a liability. And one I may not actually be able to cure. Out in the night, my follower is whispering words that sometimes they might mean. Even if their victim knows the words are lies, they may not care. A nest of lights. The tunnels beneath the cave are smooth with the great serpent's passage and chokingly dark until we come with our lanterns. But the chamber where it nested is surprisingly bright. Luminescent fungi flood the place with Ersta's moonlight. Perhaps the candles drew it, not repelled it. Trying to think if I want to do some commissions now. We are going to be doing another expedition, so I'll do at least one more round at the Institute, and then maybe we'll start translating the text. One drawback here is that while the erudition is nice to have, the glimmering might be helpful too, but in this case the generation of mystique is a liability for me now, because I would prefer to be generating some notoriety from my activities as a cult, namely getting strangers to feed to the spider's door. And that mystique gets in the way of me being able to remove that. So in this case, obviously, it didn't help us here. We had a bit of bad timing, but we have a Callagine to deal with that evidence. Overall, I would say that most of this particular session has always had just an event that happens, one moment too late. But we're going to... Essentially, it's a question... In this case, it's really a question of the trade-offs. So why am I willing to get hit by the dread? Well, at this point, it's not even really an option anymore. This is just something that's going to happen. But maybe I could have been, you might think, well, maybe you could sacrifice the fascination or something like that. Or maybe, you could have done something to eliminate the winter. I was willing to hang on to that winter influence simply because it would be the thing that I would remove the fascination with. But regardless, right now, this is something that I need to get that higher level lantern, and that higher level lantern is something that I can use to move past the spider's door, in theory. If it doesn't turn out that way, what a pity. I'll be mad, I'll shake my fist to the heavens and move on. But I... sorry, I'm trying to think of the right way to put this. Because this is a high enough priority for me, and because one dread is not the end of the world, I'm willing to take the dread rather than give up the fascination, which I've obviously been struggling to get this playthrough. Also, because we're going to be getting some higher level lantern lore, I'm going to... I don't know if this is going to work, but I'm going to try. I always keep saying that I should do this on my own time, and the fact of the matter is that I've never touched the arrangement. So we're going to take a minute here to... Normally I do this while the game's running, but the worry I have is that I'm going to they're testing the edge of the table, but I think I can live with that. Actually, I could just get some more space. Nope, no I can't. At least not until the next patch. It's gonna look a little cramped on this side, but that's life. Oop. This is going to be really annoying with the door, but at this point, I just kind of want to get the space for the lore. And there's absolutely no sense behind this current ordering. I'm sorry for that. Yeah, I'm going to be kicking myself for the way that I've ordered this. But that's a tomorrow me problem. Actually, maybe what I could do. A minion is returned attended by a prisoner rendered docile with delight. Oh, and we got some funds out of it. Nice. So the next step is to take Clovette, or sorry, Dorothy in this case, and bring them through. So if I move the verbs up here. Okay, another season of suspicion. That's possibly a problem. Let's go to the Ascent of Knives. Oh, you know what? If that's just level 6... I wasn't thinking this through. The Ascent of Knives is called the Sharp Stare, and the Mother of Mirrors, and the Feast of the Grail. If one is to look beneath the stare, as I did last night in my dreams, one understands that last name. It draws a tithe of blood from the feet of those who ascend. In Pausai, some shaped like men, many shaped like women, wait beneath the glass of the stairs to satisfy their hunger. I did not approach. I made no sound. I only observed. Alright, is that it? You've resolved an intuition challenge. Move the renegades over here. Worry detective over here. Oh, I'll read that text in a minute. I'm just trying to order things right now. Okay. So... normally I would have unpaused, but given the fact that the Callagine is close to kaput, I want to work this all out. Okay, so let's say that these are annoyances. The lore, we'll put a gap between them and the lore. Possessions. We'll put those a bit lower. I'm not going to fully redesign the board, but I do want to try and impose a little more structure on things. And again, most of this is just about preparing for the higher level lore that we're going to get, because it's not just going to be the Lantern lore soon. It's going to be there's going to be a couple of others. And it's going to be really annoying to make exceptions for all of them ad hoc. So I'm dealing with that now. So if I look at it this way, I suppose... I can't remember if it's 2 or 3 more. That's a problem to deal with later. Right, a little cache of treasures. Oh, sorry. Oh, we've already got that dealt with. Okay. A little cache of treasures culled over the years from the serpent's meals. It has nosed them into a glinting pile. Okay. King Crucible burns low. King Crucible's fires have sunk to a lesser heat for now. Blackened traces remain like bones of coal. Like the bones of coal. So you've got an intensity of radiance, as if I didn't have influence troubles already. Put the notoriety up into the pest section. We've got a percussagant and Callagine. The Callagine's toast, actually. We actually might be able to get around it. Okay, the Ecervitrius. We'll add that to the lantern. We've got the Sky the Soul, the Grand Labor of Cal, an ascetic poet writing at the court of the Shadowless Kings. And the account of Kanishk at the Spider's Door. So both of these we can translate. Here's how I'm going to preserve my summons. So we're going to take the Callagine and get to search the city. Now this only lasts 10 seconds, so I need to be really, really careful with my timings. Dream-wise, let's go back through the Spider's Door. Spider's Door is always thirsty, always. The blood I have given leaks in threads and spills through the skin of the world, and the door drinks it, and a moment's satisfaction swells its opening until I can pass. Okay, so tentative evidence, we're going to get the Callagine to destroy that. I'm certain that my adversary has lodged a copy of their notes elsewhere, with their solicitor, with their superior, or even with a contact in the press. This is troubling. Okay, Overlook Place, I need to be quick on the space. And we'll send the Callagine out again. So I'm going to try resummoning the Percussigan first. A hireling. This would actually be helpful, so we'll spend the money on that. Now, originally I was going to think about doing some commissions that's clearly off the table. So I've done some good. My patients are quieter than when I began. Okay, so we are going to take the Rite of the Crucible Soul. Let's take the Percussagant. We need Knock for the ritual, so let's try the Igavin Rite. You know what? I can get a free Vitality if I use the Sunset Rite at an intensity of Radiance. Bring a Percussagant. So the 23-second Percussagant vanishes, but so does the intensity of Radiance. So, oh, whoa, 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 no, 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 no. Please don't summon a hint. Drat. There's no really good way for me to get around that, I don't think. Okay, well, that's fine. We'll figure out a way of dealing with the Radiance later. Now that Season of Suspicion's a little bit more of a worry, though. I think the talk verb might be available to me, but whether or not the Callagine is available is a whole other question. So we may just have to accept that we get the damning evidence, and we move on. Good lord, another oh no, but that's not going to matter, that might actually be a prison sentence for us. Okay, old unhappy far off things. We have to deal with that because it's going to turn into dread. And I've increased my mastery of the glorious lore, which we call by its aspect lantern. So of course, normally I would want this for its dread to get rid of the fascination, but the fascination is too much of a threat right now. I guess I can add this to the nuisance column, or nuisance area. But we do have the mantra of Ascent. So the Ascent of Knives is the bloodiest of the Watchman's tests. Those who pass it and are dead enter the service of the sun in rags. Those living who pass it are a little closer to the glory. So one thing I'm actually going to try here. Let's see if my hunch was right. We can. Okay, so the question would be, do I want to try and go through the go to the Peacock store right now, or do I want... Yeah, we'll give the hapless prisoner a little more time to get familiar with the cupboard. The light of the divided sun penetrates my dream, but not enough to thaw the long-dead frost blossoms of the glass garden. Each step I take crushes another plant to powder. This is the way the brighter hours once came, but now it's silent, here in the clouds. Oh wow, that was really close. Okay, the Peacock door, proud and shining amethyst. Its glow tinting the snow. Sorry. Its glow tinting the snow-pale shapes of the glass garden. This is the highest point where mortals may penetrate the mansis. No crack mars its surface. This is not a door that opens, although it is said it may bleed light. Okay. So there's the mantra of Ascent. I believe there's only one more level for Lantern. So we got a few things to do. I've got a study slot open. I need to keep aware of my old unhappy far off things. This is complicated because I'm going to be trying to do a bunch of summonings and such. For now... Wait, where did I put the... No, there it is. So if I go to the Peacock store, there are events that can produce both fascination and dread, neither of which I want right now. It does give me the possibility of learning VAC. If I go to the white door, I get the favor, or potentially get the favor from authority, or potentially get fascination. Fascination I can sort of deal with. Well, not really. The only thing I can deal with fascination with is a fleeting reminiscence. So I really need to think this through. I think I should still try... Well, that or I do the hapless prisoner again. What does the hapless prisoner get me, though? We've got time on this, so I'm going to skip the spider's door. I'm going to skip the peacock door until I'm in a mental state that can handle these events. Translating both of these is a liability, but the edge is the higher priority lore. So let's translate the account of Kanishk at the Spider's Door. Lok Kali, Kanishk's victim and lover, wrote this account, perhaps posthumously. So we'll translate the Aramaic for starters. We are going to go through the white door because the favor from authority is the priority at the moment. No one understands us, or else they understand us too well. Yeah, so the challenge here is that I can try and destroy the evidence, but this event's just going to pick it up in 17 seconds. So there's nothing I can really do with the precaution. Well, yeah, no, this is actually bad. This could turn into a case against us. So I can try and kill a weary detective, but there's going to be another one to pick up in time. Yeah, this is a real pickle. The best we can hope for is to get a favor from authority. And this will buy their loyalty for now, so I can... Ugh, this is ugly. Try and hope for an old and happy far-off thing. We're already going to get sunk by the notoriety, so in for a penny, in for a pound here. Let's just betray the professional muscle for starters. This one must serve another purpose now. Into the cupboard they go. Rebellious spirit. In this case, we're just going to have to shut down. I'm not going to try and wrestle with the percussagant. Let's just send it home, pronounce the words of dismissal, seal the circle tight, erase every trace. So in this case, I'm just working out, I'm kind of on damage control. Okay, that's unfortunate. So the Callagine is tied up for another minute. We don't have any options for destroying evidence. With the talk verb, I'm now going to start bringing in, I'm actually going to start bringing in some of the hangers-on so there are more opportunities for us to, have them picked. I mean, the most likely case here is that someone here is going to go to jail, but I've locked this one away safely. When their screaming and raving subsides, I will subdue them properly. Okay. So restlessness will hopefully generate contentment to deal with the dread. Talk-wise, how am I going to handle the evidence? Well, actually, I don't need to be that dramatic. I've got 3 moth followers. I technically only need 2. So we're going to get Sylvia to... We're going to talk to her right away. Because hopefully that's going to give us the opportunity to get rid of that evidence almost immediately. Or at least as long as it takes them to pick up the next batch. Okay, Season of Despair, so we've got a reprieve. Oh, good, actually. Okay, so it's not as big of an emergency. It's gone, we are safe. Okay, so I'm not quite in a hair on fire situation anymore. We will paint with our notoriety. You never know, this might be a living. And I just got a notification. I might have to wrap this up a little earlier than I was expecting, but let's see how well we can do things. Maybe it'll be a cliffhanger that we end on, so... Oh, beautiful. I've learned something that will earn me a favor once only. I'm not risking my moth follower. We're going to deal with this the old-fashioned way. Last night I dreamt of the blue silk pavilion overlooking the cloudy labyrinth of the Bounds. I listened to the mistress of this place speak of other visitors. The Suppression Bureau come here. Did you know that? I think they hope to recruit me as an ally. She snorts derisively. After what they tried to do to Christopher. But their folly is your fortune. I will tell you something that may help you if the Bureau ever troubles you. Okay, so we're not going to mess around with this yet. We will translate The Sky the Soul. So, the grand labor of Cal, an ascetic poet writing at the court of the Shadowless Kings. And dream-wise, we don't really need to go back to the White Door because we have the favor from authority. I do, however, want to go back through the Stag Door. The Stag Door is the Adept's Gate. To pass it is to be initiated into the first true mystery of the House of the Sun. The headgear bee weeps to see me enter where it cannot, but it must let me pass. The scarred valves of the door grind open. So the reason I want to do that is so that I can... basically so that I can try and summon back either the Callagine or the percussagant. Okay. Colors of the Night. I could spend... Well, we'll try spending money. We might get some money out of it. And that fascination might go away on its own, which is a little helpful. Alright, that looks like another old unhappy far off things. That's a little funny. This will buy their loyalty for now. Okay, so Calagine's gone. Do I want to betray the hulking fellow right away? I don't have them for that long. I can't go on another expedition, that's for sure. Oh, of course, the Ecdysis Club is an obvious answer for me. But it does look like I do need to run off and reasonably quickly. So I think this is a decent place to end it here. This actually might be an interesting one for you. For those of you who are following through on this to see, to learn a little bit more of the game, here are the things that I need to worry about right now. We have a damning evidence. We have a despair. We have another old and happy far off things. So in 90 seconds, we're going to generate another dread. And I think that's really it for threats. And the next turn that's coming up is a Season of Despair, so this is equivalent to a free turn. So one thing that might be interesting to do, seeing as this should be the Friday episode, think a little bit about how you might handle a situation like this. Especially if you're looking to learn, maybe write it down or think a little bit. You can leave it in the comments if you want to, but this isn't like a cheesy thing to try and get the interaction numbers up on YouTube or that. This is just kind of a little bit of an idea for homework. But there isn't one obvious way to handle this. There's actually a few different ways we're going to handle it. I think I have a pretty clear idea of how I want to deal with it. You can kind of already get an impression given the fact that I've chosen to do the painting. But what you may wonder about is why I'm willing to tolerate damning evidence and why I didn't let Yzabet, Porter, or Sylvia try and destroy it. But again, that's something to, think about or not think about. Until then, I guess the next episode will be Wednesday. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, on Twitch, on YouTube, it does help me out if you leave a comment or a like, or if you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscription already. I have loved the comments that you've left. Definitely don't go out of your way. I'm a YouTube watcher too, and I tend not to leave comments. I completely understand that. But one thing that will help me is if you enjoy the series and you've not yet told somebody about it. I know it's a little weird to tell people about YouTube stuff that you're watching, but word of mouth is the only way that I really get out there. So if you think you know somebody who would like Cultist Simulator, I'm happy to be one of the gateways to it. But I hope you enjoy your weekend. I think I already said that, and I will see you all Wednesday at 6:30. Have a good one.